One of John Donne's patrons and admirers was an aristocratic lady called Magdalen Herbert. It's likely that Donne gave her manuscript copies of some of his poems, which weren't published until after his death in 1631. And if so, they were probably read by one of Magdalen Herbert's sons, George. Coming from a noble family, brought up to value intellectual attainments, apt and practiced in linguistic nimbleness, George Herbert was for much of his life ambitious for worldly success. And this ambition seemed within reach as public orator at Cambridge and man about court. But Herbert arrived at a point in his 30s when he realized that these ambitions were likely to come to nothing. And it was then that he took the unusual step for a man of such background and attainments of becoming a country parson, rector of a parish near Salisbury in Wiltshire. None of Herbert's mature poems, written in the last few years of his quite short life, he died at the age of 39, has other than a religious subject. Throughout, there's a plainness, a sincerity, and a homeliness that you could say seems to suggest a domesticated John Donne, as in the way Herbert tells a story about encountering Christ in his poem Redemption.
Having been tenant long to a rich lord, not thriving, I resolve it to be bold, and make a suit unto him, to afford a new small rented lease, and cancel the old. In heaven at his manor I him sought. They told me there that he was lately gone about some land which he had dearly bought long since on earth to take possession. I straight returned, and knowing his great birth, sought him accordingly in great resorts, in cities, theatres, gardens, parks, and courts. At length I heard a ragged noise and mirth of thieves and murderers. There I him espied, who straight, "Your suit is granted," said, and died.
But there must have been a sense of strain at times in Herbert's choice of a religious vocation. And it's that strain, that sense of rebelliousness against discipline, which he handles so dramatically and with such an inevitable rhythm of movement towards peace in his poem, The Collar. It begins with all the passion and abrupt power of Donne.
I struck the board and cried, "No more, I will abroad. What, shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines and life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be still in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn to let me blood, and not restore what I have lost with cordial fruit? Sure there was wine before my sighs did dry it. There was corn before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no bays to crown it? No flowers, no garlands gay? All blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sands, which petty thoughts have made, and made to thee good cable to enforce and draw and be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Away, take heed, I will abroad. Call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child," and I replied, "My Lord."
That dramatic simplicity of Herbert, in which plain domestic strength and plain storytelling are compressed into something full of rhythmical subtlety and delicacy, is also the note of what is probably his best-known poem, an anecdote and a dialogue called Love.
Love bade me welcome, yet my soul drew back. guilty of dust and sin. But quick-eyed love, observing me grow slack from my first entrance in, drew nearer to me, sweetly questioning if I lacked anything. A guest, I answered, worthy to be here. Love said, you shall be he. I, the unkind, ungrateful, ah, my dear, I cannot look on thee. Love took my hand, and smiling did reply, who made the eyes but I? Truth, Lord, but I have marred them. Let my shame go where it doth deserve. And know you not, says love, who bore the blame? My dear, then I will serve. You must sit down, says love, and taste my meat. So I did sit and eat.
Herbert's poems were written and he died not long before the English Civil War.